Hello, and welcome to the World's RV Show, going on now at Motorhome Specialist, the #1 volume selling motorhome dealership in the world. My name is Donnie O'Banion, and today we're being joined by Adam Gudger, who's the National Sales Manager and Chief Designer of Thor Motor Coach's Luxury Diesel Division. And today we're lucky enough to have Adam come in and take us for a tour of the all-new 2016 Tuscany and to show us what makes this Thor Motor Coach's flagship model. Adam?
It's good to be back.
Really appreciate you being here, taking the time.
Always my pleasure. You know, I thought last year we finally took it to the whole nother level, but we've done some new things, Donnie, thanks to your feedback and from our retail customers out there. And I think the Tuscany, you know, I say this every year, it's finally where we want it to be. But, you know, what's really exciting for us as a company is we're continuing to try to raise that bar. You know, we're not trying to be satisfied. We had a lot of success last year, you know, driving, you know, this coach to customers, you know, more value for the dollar, you know, has been always our motto. We want to try to give you the most for your money. But there are certain things about the coach that we felt were just lacking just a little bit. And we wanted to take it a whole nother level. And the one thing that I'm most excited about, and it took the most amount of time, and my president of our company, Jeff Kime, he actually thought I was crazy when I first brought it up with him, but I really wanted to change our outside look and functionality. And so what we did is we actually tasked a couple engineers for an entire year to get out and actually redesign the whole body of the motorhome on the outside, because we wanted to make the coach have taller basements. You know, one of the things that we've done, and we really are an industry first to do this, is really focus on these full wall slide type floor plans and going bigger and longer and better, because, you know, at the end of the day, no matter, you know, what motorhome you're buying, you're all about square footage, right? And what can give you more square footage than a full wall slide? Nothing. And then we said, okay, engineers, let's see if we can figure out how to make them even deeper and longer. But the problem with a full wall slide is that it really intrudes on the patio side or on the driver's side of the coach, depending on the floor plan. And so we were lacking in our basement heights. And so we got with our engineering group and said, okay, this is what we're looking for. We want a better, you know, appearance, and then we also want to have that height. And so we went back in and we redesigned the entire undercarriage, and we were able to develop a new slide system with our partners in Lippert, and we now have all hydraulic slide outs on all our coaches. And in the Tuscany, it's the only motorhome in this segment of the industry to offer hydraulic slides on every single slide out of the unit. Hydraulic slides are more expensive, but they push more weight, they're more reliable, and overall it's just a smoother experience for every customer. And we did that, and we were able to increase the basement height by, hear this, 4.5 inches. We've increased our height of our storage compartments by 4.5 inches. I mean, that's like the difference between a sore back and not, right? I mean, you can get in and access. And so even, you know, this one, it doesn't have the full wall side, but it has, you know, even with the 2 slide outs on this side of the coach, just so much more opening here. And then you also notice with these frames that go around the slides, they're now 2.5 inches in width. And before we were 6 inches, so you could really see the slide. Now it really blends in, you know, with these new great graphics. And so it's all hydraulic, more storage. So that was a big thing. And then, you know, obviously we were very excited about this Amish hardwood that we've been incorporating into the coaches with the cabinetry. And, you know, we're all about trying to make the look better in the units, and with the light resort cherry, which has been very popular, and surprisingly this melange, this dark wood, which we knew was a little aggressive, but very popular in the furniture industry, it's also really taken off. And so we have these great new interior looks, and you know, you and I talked about it, we just felt that the tile didn't fit with the rest of the coach. So very, very late in 2015, we put this really nice polished porcelain that we were able to find. It took almost a year's worth of searching to find the right one. And we also redeveloped our entryways. And so just the whole presentation when you walk in the coach now, it all fits together finally. And so, so that was nice. And then there was another thing, you know, when you're looking in these coaches, it's cabinets, it's floor, and then what else do you see a lot of is the ceiling, right? And so we developed a ceiling package for all of our coaches as well with LED lighting, and it's really elegant, and it's not, you know, Las Vegas, you know too glitzy. It's very, very conservative but elegant. Matches with our pocket doors. And the other nice thing is it's a functioning air conditioning plenum. So it actually helps us even distribute our air even better than we had in the past. In fact, you know, with the Whisper Quiet air conditioning system, you know, we have one of the quietest air conditioning systems in the industry, but this has even made it even quieter and better for air distribution. So we did that. And then one of my product development guys came to me one day and said, "What about push button start on the engines?" I thought, really? In motorhome? No way. And so we did it, and I tell you what, I'm really glad that you talked me into it because when you have a high-end luxury type vehicle, I mean, what do you get in an automobile? You get that push button start. Well, nobody's ever offered it in the RV business before, and again, we're trying to be the first to market with things now. We want to be the leader, and so we've added that to our units, and last but certainly not least, we've incorporated the best in-dash nav system in the industry. We have a new Rand McNally. It's 10.5 inches. It's got all the features. It's a monster. It's a North American GPS. It's going to give you a bigger picture. A lot of these companies they put 2 screens in, and you don't know which one's which. This thing, I mean, it's like having basically a laptop built right, or an iPad built right into your dash. So
it is.
Your perspective's there. It's got the most reliable RV GPS in the industry. So we just tossed a bunch of stuff at this coach, and fortunately, we were able to keep the price point to where we're right in the meat of the market, and we've already seen the sales really taken off so far this year. We're really excited about the results that we've seen out there.
The coach has truly never looked better. The tile that you chose, I know it was an imported tile. Took a while for you to get it together, but I mean, it looks fantastic. Again, with both the dark and the light wood. And something that we'd been asking for a while that you did was bring us in some darker leathers as an option as well. All 3 of your interior packages look phenomenal. I mean, you literally cannot order a bad Tuscany now.
Thank you.
Your woods, your interiors, your exterior paint jobs. 4 new exterior colors.
5. We actually were able to get 5th because Mosaic, which was a late addition to our lineup, in the Copper Fusion last year was our most popular color, and I thought, well, let's try something new. So we went with new colors, which I think everybody likes, but that color was so popular that we had like 3 or 4 people, call out and say, "Hey, will you paint us this?" And so we were able to talk the company into doing a 5th. So
good deal.
Yeah. So and I think the graphics are a little bit more expressive this year than they had been, and I'm pleased how they all turned out. And we only change our graphics packages every couple of years, so it's always nice to see something fresh at the market and something new out there.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense, especially with the new exterior body design to come up with the new paint job, because there's just a lot of new. I mean, the coach totally has a new look, both inside and out this year. And then your floor plans. You had an incredible lineup last year, and it's my understanding that you're going to be bringing another tag axle model.
We are, yeah. It's crazy. I've been here now. This will be my 5th year. Hard to believe it's been that long now. And we have added 3 new floor plans, and we kept the couple, and then we have 3 new ones, or I guess relatively new. But starting obviously with the 40DX with theater seating. It's got a huge 60-inch televator TV that comes across. One of the big phenomena, I guess, over the last few years has been directional TVs. It's still got a 40-inch TV that when you put that one away and you have guests over, you can really utilize the living space. And then the rear bass. The rear bass, we've really maximized those. You can see the toilets and the sinks in the rear vanities sliding out, so it really creates more of a master bath type of feel. And that DX is done so well that we've had a lot of people ask, well, why don't you do something like that in a tag? So the newest to market, this 42GX, it kind of takes everything the DX had, and then it takes it to a whole nother level. Some people really want a tag axle, and so we took that concept and we've changed it a little bit. We actually took the dinette and we moved it to the curb side, so you have patio side dining, which I know a lot of customers have asked about. It allows us to put a fireplace in, which we can't do in the DX because of restrictions, because we want to keep that length down. So we've done that. We also incorporated a larger shower into the GX. The HQ, which we debuted last year.
The new floor plan, I'm excited about seeing it, but I can't imagine liking it more than the 42 HQ. I mean, I love the arrangement in the 42 HQ. It's so unique to the industry.
Absolutely, and with that open concept where you really bring your entertaining in your kitchen area into the living space, It's been really popular, and with the bath and a half, and that again, that televator with the dinette space, it continues to do well. So we'll be continuing with that 42 HQ, and it's one of its kind in the industry. And then not to mention the 44 MT and the 45 AT.
Well, I love the 45 AT. I mean, here at Motorhome Specialists, we traditionally, what we buy the most of, what we sell the most of, are your bigger coaches.
Sure.
Just seems like we just do better with those particular models. And we really, as you noted, just like the additional floor space, because it's only a couple of feet, longer, so it's really not any more difficult to get them around. But I mean, square footage, when you talk 2.5, 3 feet, that's 24 additional square foot in a motorhome. So, there's just a lot more you can do with the 3 feet. So, we've obviously we love the 45 AT. It's what we did our video on last year.
That's right.
Now that's the one with the forward-facing entertainment center. Right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
it's got this 60-inch TV up front. It's got 100-inch L sofa. It's got this immense galley with this huge pull-out galley extension, which for those full-timers that we have out there, they really like all that storage that you get with that galley. By far and away our best galley that we have. It's got a really nice rear bath with his and hers, or I like to say hers and hers sinks.
Right.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah.
But anyway, no. So that one's great. But then with the 44 MT, you have it where it's flipped, and you have that mid-living with opposing seating. So there's so many differences between two coaches that are really the same length. They're both 45 feet long, and so it really gives you an opportunity to really decide upon what you really want your lifestyle to be. Sure. and both will lend to a wonderful RV experience.
Well, I know we've already covered a lot of ground when it comes to floor plans and colors and things of that nature, and I know that all of the Tuscanys are built on Freightliner chassis. My question is, are all of your Tuscanys now built with the 60-degree wheel cut and the independent front suspension system regardless of floor plan?
When you think about being a diesel motorhome consumer, the thing that you've made a decision in life on doing is you're going to use your RV more, right? You're going to drive it more. You're going to go further distances. You're going to take more people with you. So, we really want to make sure that we can provide the most pleasurable experience when you're on the road, because let's face it, if you're driving the vehicle and you like the way it drives, you're going to use it more. And so there's not a single ingredient on a motorhome that's going to improve the ride more than if you were to put an independent front suspension on the coach, because it's going to perform and be smoother. There's less body roll and sway. It's just a smoother, more pleasurable experience. And so by spending the extra money to do that, we're the only company. Let me repeat this. We are the only company in the RV business to offer an IFS in this price segment. In addition to the ride and drive aspects, it's also going to allow you to navigate and turn the vehicle easier. What's nice about these tags is that there's a switch inside that enables you to take all the pressure off the tag wheels, and so your pivot point is on the drive axle, and then when you improve the wheel cut by an extra 5 degrees, which is what happens.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a huge amount. And so when you can cut that wheelbase down and then improve the wheel cut, it'll blow your way when you see the difference in the way it turns. So that's a huge part of it. But we don't stop there, Donnie. We actually go further than that. We've invested more in tire size. Again, other companies out there that we compete against, they choose to run a 275 80R tire. We're running a 295 tire. We're going to put bigger tires on, better axles, and bigger fuel tanks. We actually have a 150-gallon fuel tank that we're offering on every model of Tuscany. Most of our competition, I think actually everybody, is running 100 gallons. So we're going to keep you out of the fuel stations and on the road because you get 50% more fuel capacity than others. We're putting a 15K hitch on the tags, which a lot of companies are running a 10K hitch. And so, there's a lot of things on this chassis that we're doing that are exceptional. And then, on top of that, we have Moride, who's a company right there locally in Elkhart County that does all of our upfit for us. All of our structure is designed specifically with our mechanical engineering group, and there's the two groups of degreed engineers get together and really balance it out. Because at the end of the day, how well this coach is balanced, the better the coach is going to ride. And so all those things together really just make for a fantastic experience, and one that I think everybody should come out and check out. So And speaking of fuel tanks, and one of the things I had mentioned earlier is with the body design. And you'll notice here, if you're looking down this coach, it's a completely straight belt line down the body of the coach. And one of the things that we did when we redesigned our body, our undercarriage, and then our slide systems, is that we actually had to relocate our fuel tanks and fills. And so you'll notice these dual fuel fills now are up above the belt line. You'll notice also right next door to this fuel tank setup is our keyless entry. We do offer keyless entry in all our coaches. There's also a key fob and then a switch on the dash for the basement as well. So you have your entry door and you have your baggage doors are all set up on automatic locks. How nice is that when you're getting ready to go? That you just hold down a button and it locks all the doors. You're not having to get down there
it's huge.
And have to turn the key every time. And then obviously when you're doing that, you're not having to bend down as much because again, the thing that really makes this coach extra special this year is this basement height improvement. I mean, you'll notice 4.5 inches of increased height. So, the best basement design that I've come across since I've been in the industry. We've also done some things that improve the ceiling. Not to say we had an issue, but just improved, because obviously you get into those, gravel roads and different places where, there could be an issue. We've added a return to the top of our doors. So
right.
That, keeps any condensation from finding its way in. The design of the even the shape of the opening, there's a crown to it, and that's all done to improve upon our ceiling of our aluminum well-insulated baggage compartments on this coach. And as you go down the unit,
right.
One thing we've always had is really expansive pass-through storage, but now you can add the height to that, and you're getting the best of all worlds. This coach, Donnie, has it's either 240 or 260 cubic feet of basement storage in it, which I challenge you to find any company in the business that's doing that. I mean, you can literally be out and gone for time. You're not having to sacrifice bringing your golf clubs or bicycles or both. I mean, you're going to bring everything you want to bring with you. And then just even notice this perimeter of the slide seal. We've actually have a whole new slide sealing system with this hydraulic slide. So the perimeter is only 2.5 inches wide where they were 6 inches before, so a much more aesthetic look. You get back to this compartment, and this is the widest tray in the industry. This is a 60-inch wide full pass-through tray. This thing's insane. You look at this, and this thing will come all the way out. You can actually access it from either side, and I mean, it's stout. I mean, you can get up in this thing, and this will hold like 1,000 pounds, I believe it is. And so, and you could roll me in and out if you wanted to. I don't know if you want to do that. I think we'll try that later. Yeah, it's pretty nice in the way that's all set up. You'll also notice within the bays something that's just a typical thing for us, but we use a pebble grain fiberglass lining inside our bays. Almost everybody in the industry runs it's like a mouse fur type of felt. It can get really dingy and moldy, and dust and stuff can get in it. We put this pebble grain fiberglass in. It's also an insulator, so it's all well finished down there underneath. And then looking up top, you'll notice the LED lighting. We actually have 2 automatic awnings up front here. There's a front door awning with LED, and then there's also this 3-armed armless Carefree Freedom Freestyle awning that we boast for the patio side. That's a 5-meter awning, Donnie. So it's a wide awning. It comes down at a nice angle. One of the things that we're still seeing out there with some of the companies is they're putting the awnings either on the body of the coach or over the slide box, and so the pitch gets compromised. You have no shade, or the water won't run off, and you got to run it in when it's raining. Which the whole purpose of an awning in the first place is to have an awning that keep you dry. So it's a really nice feature. And then something above it, which is another really underrated feature, is that cover that we're putting on the slide rooms themselves. When you're traveling at high velocity down the road, wind can somehow find its way in under these awnings. Well, if you with that cover, it protects the awning so it won't unravel on you. Could you imagine being somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and then you got to get up on the roof and you got to figure out how to get that awning in, so it's zip tie it off or whatever. This is going to protect it. Also, trees.
I was going to say tree limbs is definitely pulling them apart.
It protects it so you're not going to dent it up and everything. So we rerun those all the way around the coach. Again, something that our competition, a lot of them anyway, don't feel it's necessary on the vehicle, but we absolutely do. That was another one
I
of
like
those
the addition of the LED patio lights. It's just a nice ambient light at night. For years, everybody just had the one spotlight outside.
Absolutely.
But this just gives you a nice ambient light. It lights up the entire area. It's a huge improvement.
It does
over
the trick, and you don't have all these extra lights just on the side of the coach. We like a clean look on the outside. That's why we, did this whole new straight belt line with this really nice finished look.
Back to the storage bays for just a minute, because we talked about all of the cubic footage and all the different things that you're doing to your cargo bays. But when you're standing right here, you look down and you see the thermostat. Because traditionally, coaches were only going to have heated tanks. We make a big deal about having heated tanks.
That's right.
That are all-season coaches. But you actually heat the bays in your coach.
One of the things that we're starting to recognize as a manufacturer, just from our own, market research, is our customers are becoming more adventurous, and they want to go, the ski resort, or they're going to go see, family that might happen to be up in the northern country that it's going to be colder, and then there's a lot of Canadians that own RVs. I'm proud to tell you, Donnie, and I may have mentioned this the last time I visited you, but the Tuscany brand has been the top-selling diesel brand in Canada for 4 years running. And we're hoping to make it 5 years this year. So
the insulation is a huge.
Insulation.
It's got to play into that.
But overall, it's everything. It's what you said. We put two separate heat exchangers in the basement, where a lot of companies will only put a heat exchanger off the aquat in the wet bay. We put them in both. We build the floor with high density insulation. We the sidewalls and the roof. All the construction that goes into this coach. We're keeping in mind that. There's people that use these in all types of weather conditions, and we want to be that coach where they feel confident that they can do that. And it's interesting because I know when you're looking at different RVs, it's very easy to get caught up with what you like to see, which we obviously want to make sure the coaches look good. But I think probably the most underrated aspect of our motorhomes is the way we build them. I am so impressed every time I get out on the factory floor. And by the way, we do give tours every day if everyone to come out and visit us. But and just the way everything comes together. Just the fact that you got this steel floor. It's 1.5-inch tubular steel with high density insulation and 5/8-inch structure wood that we run the whole length, and then the extra hardy backer, that fiber cement board that we're putting at the floor underneath the tile to cushion the tile. This thing's got steel in the floor. It's got the rigidity to handle the stresses, the noise, the vibration, and on top of that, we're putting that hardy backer underneath, and we're using a more tolerant, thicker porcelain than a lot of other companies use. You mentioned sourcing stuff in Asia or in wherever, Europe or wherever we're going to go to find the right materials. We want to make sure that we have the tolerances available, understanding this is a motorhome. This is not a house. This is a rolling earthquake moving down the road that we're trying to build as balanced and as safe as possible. And we're going to make sure that the things that we're putting into this vehicle are going to last. And then when you add the sidewalls at 1.5-inch tubular aluminum, and the fact that we're running 6-inch headers that are double tubed, we're framing in our front caps with steel and steel firewalls, steel step wells, and then we're incorporating a tubular vacuum bonded aluminum roof that we're running arched aluminum every 15 inches, inch by inch tube, and it's all vacuum bonded together. It's just, the thing is built to last. You got a chassis here with a Freightliner that's going to run you, 500,000 to 1 million miles if you take care of it. And so we're challenging our engineers and our production people to build the box, to build that conversion, to blend in with that chassis so it's going to be around when you need it.
Absolutely. And, talking of steel, but the steel backers that y'all put throughout your coach. And that to me has always been so impressive, and that's something that y'all do across your product lines.
We do.
Not just in your flagship models like the Tuscany, but I mean through your Class C's, your Class A gas, I mean just across the board. And that is so impressive to me because it's not about how quiet you can make the coach the first year or during a test drive, but I mean the coaches are truly built to last, and there's so much difference when you go out into one of your pre-owned coaches that are 5 or 6 years old. That, you know, we sell a lot of pre-owns.
Sure.
And you know, you get in a Thor motor coach that's 5, 6, 7 years old, and there is a noticeable difference in just how quiet the coach still is, you know, after it's got 60,000 miles on it. The cabinets are still tight. The tolerances are still tight. You know, you just don't get those coaches that loosen up in the box and the cabinets that start to come away from the walls. And, you know, when you grab a hold of that handle, you know, 200 times over the course of its life, and it's just into wood, I mean, there's stuff that we have to fix on a daily basis, you know, when we put coaches back through our pre-owned line,
Sure.
you know, to get them ready for resale. And there's just a noticeable difference in the Thor motor coaches. Like I said, when you go to grab handles, and they're still like it was when it was new. It's just a really impressive process.
I mean, just windows alone. I mean, there's a lot of companies out there that don't even frame their windows, and every single window and door in our coaches, there's an aluminum perimeter, you know, tubular aluminum perimeter that we're anchoring our windows into. So we don't even stop with the outside walls. I mean, we'll put aluminum and steel in the interior walls to create even more rigidity because, you know, there's actually some structural components to that stuff. You know, we don't just want to rely on the shell for it. And so that's all done specifically for a reason. And it's exciting because, you know, we've really invested a lot in engineering. You know, we don't have draftsmen at Thor. We have degreed engineers, and they really know what they're doing. And, you know, they have the most up-to-date software programs, and we're really just, we're challenging our guys and gals that are out there in the engineering group to really just continue to try to improve. And I'm proud of what they've been able to accomplish. I've seen it. I mean, this last 5 years for us has been it's been the greatest improvement I've seen a motorhome evolution-wise go through in the 15 years I've been in the business.
Now, the resources that y'all have available to you at Thor Motor Coach, I mean, it's really unrivaled in the industry. And y'all have, I believe y'all make more different models of motorhomes than anyone else. You're the largest manufacturer in North America. I mean, it's just the buying power that y'all have, the resources that you have, the amount of people, of engineers, and like I said, the money that y'all have invested in your company is just, I mean, it's daylight and dark, as you said. I mean, you know, just in what you're building and, you know, what y'all have accomplished, especially over the last 5 years, it's truly impressive. Now, it really is unbelievable, the value that y'all are able to bring to the marketplace. But, you know, Adam, we've covered a lot of ground, you know, in regards to Thor Motor Coach. Obviously, the Tuscany, floor plans, you know, we've covered a lot of ground. Why don't we, let's spend a few more minutes on the exterior. Let's show them some of the feature benefits, you know, as far as your exterior TVs, some things like that. Let's hit on some high points, and let's get the slides out and show these folks the interior.
That's perfect.
And you're going to be blown away on this coach this year.
Yes, sir. So, you know, just real quickly going through, I mean, obviously, you know, outside TVs is something that's pretty much a staple anymore. You know, it's up high enough that you can sit down and you can really see it for anywhere you want to be. It's a 40-inch LED TV, well, Sony brand.
Sony.
Yeah,
that's the kind of things we're talking about.
We don't try to find the, you know, the inexpensive stuff. We try to find the nice TVs. One thing also to mention is that we do set this up for 2 receivers, so this TV will work off the bedroom. So, and then the front TVs work in combination. So I know there's a lot of people out there that like to watch the same programs. We do set these up to enable, you know, multiple viewing.
What kind of satellite dish do you have?
The best. We put a Winegard Traveler on every coach. It's standard equipment for 2016. And, you know, one of the things that we're always challenging ourselves to do is figure out a way to make more things standard equipment. You know, another thing, people travel at nighttime. So we have the side docking light so you can see, you know, on either side of the unit when you're trying to back it into that tight spot. And there's rear docking lights as well. So, you know, really just trying to make it easy for our customers. Obviously, you know, the tag axle, anything that's going to be a 42-foot or larger is going to be a tag. Now, I will tell you there is a new feature that everybody needs to come out and experience on a drive, is that all of our drive axles from Freightliner now come with a V-Ride axle. So it's a new suspension system that's been developed that can handle more weight, more even weight distribution, and just a more quality ride. we want to make sure these coaches have ample carrying capacities, because there's a lot of units, especially in those 40-foot lengths with the single axles back there, where they're right on the cusp of being overloaded. And, what would be the worst thing in the world is being traveling on the road with your loved ones with you, and then have a tire blow because the manufacturer didn't pay attention and allow for that additional payload capacity the customer needs. It's not fair for us as a manufacturer to weigh a coach and say it passes. We need to be, looking at the future and saying, okay, if it's our vehicle, what are we going to bring with us? What does that mean with weights? And so, we weigh every coach, we analyze them, and we try to make sure we have more than enough axle weight rating. I'll challenge any company in the business when it comes to carrying capacity. I believe we do the best job because we're investing those dollars and putting the right axles on the vehicles. And then moving along, obviously I'm just really, really proud of these slides, because Donnie, again, not just the big full wall slides, but even the small slides are hydraulic. This is 100% hydraulic slide systems on this coach. And then you get to here and you think, okay, DEF, right? No, 2 years ago we changed that. So we moved all of our DEF tanks to the roadside. When you're traveling about and that 3,500 mile ticker hits, and you need to fill up your 13-gallon DEF tank, diesel emission fluid for all of those that you don't know, which is required with all diesel engines now. If you go to a truck stop, you can actually fill it up on the pump. We put it on the roadside where it has on the semi, so you can be in a truck lineup, fill it up easily. All that you see here is your chassis batteries. There's also a chassis disconnect down here as well. Parasitic drain, if you're leaving a coach, sitting for an extended period of time, you could come in and your batteries don't start, when you're getting ready for the trip.
Sure,
so you can actually shut all that off and protect yourself. I didn't mention paint, but you put your hand on this.
I don't want to slow you up, but we're still running Sickens Brands paint.
We are.
And then your clear coat finish. I know that was elevated a few years ago. If you could tell us a little bit about the process there, and what you do to make the finish superior on the Tuscany.
Absolutely. Well, we talked about cold weather travel, and obviously units aren't staying in one place all the time, and so we really need to make sure we're putting a lot of emphasis on paint quality. And the one funny thing about fiberglass is that it'll actually expand and contract with temperature change. And so you get somebody that's up in Calgary in the wintertime, and they flee, for Mesa, Arizona, or wherever they're going to go. The change in the temperature can be, very, very extreme. And so we use a paint called Sickens, which actually has more elasticity to it. It doesn't cure all the way. And so when that fiberglass actually changes in size and shape, the paint will actually flex with it. So you don't get the spider cracking and we call it checking in this business, which can be an absolutely awful problem and always seems to happen after somebody's out of their warranty period, and it becomes an expensive problem to have. But we don't have those issues because we're using this quality of paint. But then we also elevate our finish work, and we do obviously put a really nice clear coat on the units, but then the thing that really takes the Tuscany to the next level is we do a full cut and buff on this coach. So there's about $2,500 of additional labor that we're paying for in the finish work on the Tuscany brand. And so when you see it out in the sunshine and driving around, you get that depth, you get that nice smooth finish, and it really is a whole nother ball game when it comes to the outside appearance of a coach.
It is. It's daylight and dark difference. When you take the orange peel out of it, again, it just gives that clean, boat caliber finish.
Absolutely. And then finally, when we come back in here to the back, you have some of your solenoids and most importantly your inverter. Whenever you see a white inverter, Donnie, that means it's a pure sine wave inverter. So this is a 2,000 watt pure sine wave Magnum Energy inverter. This has an auto generator start feature that's looped into it as well. But any of your outlets, your 110 appliances like your microwave and your televisions are all 110. So you can be out there and you can run everything without running the generator, which is really nice for folks to know.
Huge deal, especially when you're going down the road. If you've got family, kids, they're wanting to watch TVs all the time. They're charging phones all the time. So, not having to run the generator is a big deal. And as you mentioned, being the pure sine wave inverter, if I understand correctly, the pure sine wave, the big thing to them is it's a cleaner energy, correct? So you don't get the static lines and stuff like you used to with some of the older inverters when you're running the electronics and things like that. It's just a cleaner energy.
Correct. When you get up into a Tuscany caliber of product, you have really nice appliances. You know, the refrigerator is a nice Whirlpool with the French door. You got the new advanced, convection full-size microwave in the thing. It's got, huge televisions. We have the largest TVs in the business, up to 60 inches in some models. Stack washer dryers are standard, which most people make an option. All this stuff can last if you treat it right. And how you treat it right is you put an inverter in that's going to give you a cleaner amount of energy, and it's just going to allow all that investment in your RV to be extended. We want these, everything in this motorhome to last, and so it starts with the right energy. I've had the good fortune of selling a few engineers over the years, and I've yet to run into an engineer that didn't request or want a pure sine wave inverter, so I know it's a good thing.
It is, absolutely. And then the rear cap this year in the Tuscany, man. It's got a fantastic look. The paint is just exceptional.
We really have done some smart little things that you don't really notice, but just, for instance, just the LED lights. Lots of different taillights available. We went ahead and upgraded. So, more visible, just really gives it just a nice high-end look. You'll notice, Donnie, when you look at the rear camera, that there's actually twin rear docking lights as well. How nice is it to, a lot of the companies will put them on the side or not at all, but nothing in the rear. So this will actually, provide a much more visible space when you're backing in at nighttime.
Smart.
Little thing, but the 7-way hitch connection is actually integrated into the cap. There's too many companies out there that are just throwing that on the other side of the hitch on an L bracket. It just doesn't look finished. So, like the way that all came together. Got a nice brake light in the center. So, again, from a safety perspective, we want to make sure. And just even the placement of the taillights alone.
Yes.
You see a lot of them where they're down low. We, by design, moved them up higher so that, you can see over the tow vehicle. We want to make sure that our customers are going to be safe out there. And, obviously a little extra bling with the chrome accent piece with the Tuscany on it.
Right, and a small thing, but I really like how you've stayed with the removable ladder system. Just from a safety standpoint, me having little kids, it's a nice thing just being able to take the ladder off there and knowing they're not climbing or planning on, trying to get up on top of the motorhome and you don't know what they're doing. But then also just the aesthetics of the coach. When you're able to take it off, just has a beautiful look when it's going down the road.
Well, and it's funny you said something about this ladder too, but there are a lot of companies out there that don't offer a ladder. And the one thing that I'll encourage any RV owner to do is to make sure that from time to time they get up on the roof and inspect it, because it's really important that the seals and everything like that are evaluated once a year, and that's why we provide it. And the one thing that I didn't mention before when I was talking about construction, but when you walk up on this ladder and you see our roof, we put a molded fiberglass roof on the top.
Right. And I talked about the kids not getting up there, but of course, that's a usable space, for a lot of people who do NASCAR, do the football games, things like that. Myself, I've used the roofs a lot of different times because of how yours are built. You can be anywhere up on top of that roof. It's not just down the sides. But y'all have a full walk-on roof. And like I said, again, if you're at a NASCAR event or something like that, you can put a lot of people up there with how y'all's coach is built. That makes for an incredible sky deck, that's for sure.
That is. So just, other things, Donnie, obviously, you have your house batteries. They're up front and accessible, so you can keep the maintenance going. Probably the worst thing to have to ever deal with if you've ever been out traveling in cold weather is a power cord reel, without a power cord reel, I should say. So this has a power cord reel on it. It's a Glendenning, so it's got that strong motor. You can pull it out, obviously, to hook up and just hit the switch and it'll run back in. So,
sure. And I like the convenience of just being able to put the cord, how you have this design where you don't have to feed it down through the hole, going down through the bottom of it. I really like the convenience of that. And I know you already talked about this, but this is a really cool idea. This really made a lot of sense, this new beveled seals that you have on every door.
That's right. Yeah, it just keeps the water out. And obviously when you're talking about batteries and electronics, you want to make sure that it's all safe and contained. And then, we're coming around to this side, and in this 44 MT, you get to see what I was talking about with this slide out. This is a 29-foot slide. So it's just massive, and it's got a lot of depth. It just creates an environment that you want to be in. You're going to stay longer in your unit because you don't feel like you're on top of everybody. And you can see how clean this look is with this new basement design. But this is what it's all about, and what we're so happy to be able to present with us in these 16 models.
No, and the side stays so clean. I mean, all of your window awnings, what you're buying just has such a nice, clean look. The full awning coverage down, your 29-foot slide.
Yeah.
Just everything aesthetically on the coach. I mean, just did an exceptional job this year.
I mean, you see it. I mean, here's the full wall slide. You can just see this height again. Even on a full wall slide, out how tall these doors are and the openings as well. And then the last thing that I didn't mention, but looking at the side of the slide, but the windows. You got really big windows. They're frameless. They're dual pane. I mean, even our cockpit windows are dual pane. I can tell you one of the companies that we compete against, they don't put dual pane windows in their cab. I mean, you want to talk about ambient noise and frustration from driving down the road with not being comfortable. I mean, we want to keep it as a quiet, contained environment, and we don't want that air conditioning or the heat to leak out where you can't be comfortable.
It's the one element that consumers sometimes don't think about when they're talking about, well, dual panes really doesn't matter, because it's not that huge of a difference in the R factor, sometimes between the dual panes and the single panes that are available now. But the noise difference, and especially when you're talking about there in the cab, as you noted, I mean, it's a big difference.
It's huge, and just on the frameless too. The one thing that I'm really proud of, and it took us extra time to make a decision on, but you'll notice that the hinges on the windows are on the top. So the one big negative with a dual pane, or not a dual pane, but a frameless window had always been ventilation. So we worked with Hare, who supplies us with these windows, and they developed a top hinge window for us. So when you open that window, you get the full side of the window opening. So you get some of the nice features of a sliding window with the advantages of the look, and then also obviously the advantage of being able to keep that open during rainfall because of the way it's set up. And then the other part of it that's really nice is when you're sitting down on the sofa right here and you look out, you don't have a bar, that's running across the middle of the window because that's where that company decided to put the hinge at. And so it takes away from the whole ability of really being able to experience your environment, which is the whole idea behind an RV in the first place. So there's little things like that you just don't pay attention to maybe till you're in it that really make a huge difference down the road. Your bathrooms have windows. We put windows in the kitchen, which again is something that you see companies saving a few dollars on because they don't want to spend the money. But who doesn't want to have a window where their kitchen sink is? I mean, everybody does. That's like, it's just a normal thing.
Yeah, being able to have the natural light inside the coach makes a big difference, and especially in these bigger homes.
You got it, and that's all designed when we're figuring these floor plans out. So when you're out there looking at the different floor plans, be sure to pay attention to that because it really does make a difference in your living experience.
Now, your wet bay on this coach. I know that this is just going to be the back side of the storage that we looked at earlier. But your wet bays, what can you tell us that makes your wet bays a little unique to the industry?
Well, clean. We want it to be very, easy to use. Everything's very well labeled, and really just making sure that it's just functionality-wise, it all makes sense. Obviously, I had mentioned before that we do heat this area. So behind this panel, you have your black and your gray and your fresh water tank. So this whole environment is well contained. We do put a central water filter. So all your incoming water into the vehicle, no matter where you're at, it's going to actually hit a filter.
It's a big deal.
And then if it goes through, and you want to use the water in the refrigerator, there's another filter then as well. But all your water that touches your skin when you're in the shower, is going to have a filter that it goes through before it sees you. Very easy to winterize. There's a sewer tank flush, shower, outside showers. Also, this sewer connection actually has a pivot on it. So one of the nice things is after you get done dumping, you can turn that up so you don't get that extra little bit of drip
water,
that'll come out, which is never enjoyable. It's lighted, and there's even an extra light on the exterior to just make it easier to handle at nighttime. But it's pretty well self-explanatory and very easy to use.
No, just really well done, Adam.
Thanks, Donnie. And one of my favorite features, and something we kind of touched on briefly, is in this bay right here. And that is the aquat system.
Oh, yeah.
So we talked about the heated basement, and that's great because you don't want anything to freeze, and you want to be able to put stuff in your storage bay, and you don't want that stuff to freeze potentially. But when you're living in a motorhome and it's cold outside, there's only one way to be, and that's with the aquat system. Hydronic heat will allow this coach to be truly a four-season unit. And what I mean by that is so, we talked about these huge full wall slides and all this extra square footage we have, but at the end of the day, this model has the most square footage we offer at 482 square feet. That's still not a lot. And so what happens is if you are spending, days upon days in a cold weather environment running propane, the propane is naturally going to strip the air of all its moisture, and eventually you're going to become irritated, uncomfortable, and you're going to want to leave. With this system here, what it enables you to do is run heat for as long as you want, and it's a comfortable heat, and so you can leave when you want to leave, not because you're uncomfortable. You can be comfortable in cold weather. It's more efficient because you mentioned diesel-powered aquat system, so this runs right off the main fuel source, which is that 150-gallon diesel fuel tank. But it'll really only consume, on average, probably 2 to 4 gallons of diesel fuel a day. So you can run a long time on it. There's an electric element, so if it's above 43 degrees, it'll actually help maintain the heat of the fluid. It'll actually even run even more efficient than those numbers I quoted. That gives you hot water for as long as you want.
I was going to say, that's the important thing to me, too, besides just the heating of the coach, but the hot water. I mean, the difference in being able to take a shower like you would at home. I mean, if your wife wants to get in there and take a 20-minute shower and do her legs and the whole bit, I mean, you've got enough hot water to do it. It's not like you're trying to get in and get out, like a military shower, to get in and get out before you're out of hot water.
And another thing I didn't mention too is that in addition to being efficient and comfortable, but it's also a more consistent heat. Typical propane systems, you can see up to 20-degree variances inside the coach. So you can be comfortable feeling good, and then you sneak to another area of the coach, and all of a sudden it doesn't feel like it. And 20 degrees is a huge difference. Yeah, with aquat, there's a 7-degree variance throughout the motorhome, so at the maximum. So it really applies a more consistent heat, and it's quieter. So nighttime sleeping, if you get interrupted, if you're a light sleeper out there, folks, it's actually going to allow you to sleep at night because it's not going to be this loud, obnoxious sound that you don't want to hear.
It really is the premier heating system in the industry. No question. And then your side view cameras. We talked a little bit about the backup camera in the back and how you've now got those docking lights coupled with the backup camera. But I really like how y'all are integrating your side view cameras into your mirrors.
One of the most intimidating things about owning a motorhome is just getting comfortable behind the driver's seat. And it's really like riding a bike, and people say, oh, you're joking every time I say it. But, there's been so much technology that we've been able to, develop for these things that it makes it so easy anymore because, you got these mirrors are massive and very visible. And then, now the cameras are actually incorporated within the mirrors. So you get a better perspective when you're seeing each side. The monitor, I mentioned 10.5-inch monitor inside. So I mean, not only do you get to see what's there, but you get to really see it because you don't have to squint or look down because it's all right in front of you.
You can see all the way around this coach utilizing your side view cameras and your back cameras, and especially with your floodlights and stuff that you have, on the coach. You can walk over to the front of the coach and literally look around, the outside of your home. Just from a security standpoint, it's a comforting feature and something that, people will use, when they're parked, almost as much as they will when they're driving.
It's really a multifaceted system. That makes it great.
And man, your new front end is just absolutely awesome this year. I mean, I love all the new chrome. The backlit Tuscany thing is just that thing is just too cool.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to tell everybody in the campground what you're owning. And the LED accents obviously is something that we're proud of. You'll notice that we've actually blacked out around our windshields, and that's actually by design too, because that will actually really cut down on glare. And really make sure that, again, visibility-wise, you're comfortable. You look at some of these units that are out there, and the vertical height of the windshield is much less. And, there's these overheads that really get interfering on it. We really keep everything up there, and we have a taller interior. It's 85 inches, which allows us to push those overheads up. But we really want our drivers and our passengers to get that true RV experience where they can see everything. And then, you know, last but not least, the generator access. And one of the cool things we've done, and you hear about these barrel key latches that are hard to get open, you know, you don't have that on this one. You just release the front, and you know, there's a hook there that releases so that it doesn't just go flying up on you, and it'll come all the way up. And then you have this nice, beautiful generator right in the front of the coaches. And folks, I tell you, I've been out there and I've seen some of the other designs, and we looked at them before we developed our slide-out generator, and there's nothing better than this one. And Donnie, it's as simple as just hitting the switch, and it slides right out.
I mean, it really does make a huge difference when you're gonna, you know, in the serviceability, you know, of these coaches. You know, and just how quickly somebody can get in and out of a service facility, regardless of whether they're going to take care of it themselves. But I mean, just the speed of being able to, you know, to properly maintain the generator itself and get in and out of a service facility makes a big difference.
With a 10,000 gen, the service panel's on the side. It's not underneath like on an 8. So you do need to bring the generator out to be able to access that panel. And so rather than having to push all the fiberglass and everything, we were able to move that out of the way and really get at the crux of it. So it makes a huge difference. And obviously being a 10,000 generator, that's also a huge deal, because what it enables us to do is put the biggest and best air conditioners on the unit we possibly can. So we want to make sure, especially in a coach where we're boasting more square footage, that we're going to, you know, make sure that with the insulation and everything, that we're going to keep this coach as cool as you want it to be.
So it's 15,000
BTUs? We put
BTUs?
3 15 BTU air conditioners on the vehicle, even in our 40-footer, Donnie, as standard equipment. So we don't mess around when it comes to air conditioning, because I think that probably should be one of the most important things, you know, between heating the coach with the aqua or cooling the coach with the air conditioners. That's one thing that you're making a good choice on with our stuff, because we're not going to skimp really anywhere, but just be careful out there, because there's a lot of systems that don't provide that type of product, and this is just an awesome system, and again, how accessible this generator is with the way we've designed it. I'm really proud of what the engineers came up with here for this year.
And of course, being an Onan, I mean, that's the leader in the industry, and these things are so quiet.
Absolutely, really quiet and efficient. So absolutely, and you know, just some other little things that I mentioned before, but safety is big for us. You know, you got a steel firewall in here. Right. You have air access if you want to fill up your tires. You know, there's a Schrader valve here that you can incorporate with an airline of your own. You'll plug into that and be able to get air pressure from off of that system, and it's just all well and contained up front here on the vehicle.
Really did a great job. Really did a great job. Well, listen, we talked about the hydraulic slides. Let's put these things out and let's show everybody the interior of this thing.
Perfect.
I mean, it really looks gorgeous this year, Adam.
I'm looking forward to it.
The space inside this floor plan, I know we've been talking about it for an hour, but I mean, this full wall slide, you're not kidding. And this 44MT model, it is unbelievable, the living area that you have inside this home.
You know, it's tricky because you look at the full complement of floor plans we have in the Tuscany, and every one of them is a bath and a half. Well, you really can sacrifice a lot of living space to have that rear bathroom. And in this one, we really did focus on making the living room, you know, the place where you're going to spend a majority of your time, open, and really where we invest our space. So, you know, the first thing is obviously, if you just look here at this living area and, you know, have a seat, get comfortable. A lot to talk about here, but opposing seating. You know, how great is it that, you know, everybody can be set back, you know, kind of in your living arrangement, you know, the TV, the way it's set up, you can sit there, look straight at it. You're not going to get neck pain all the time. You know, one of the things we talked about before a little bit is, you know, directional TVs, really trying to set it up and make it comfortable. Well, the nice thing about this TV is that not only does it come out, but you can turn it at whichever angle. So depending if you got 10 people in here, 2 people in here, you know, whatever, you know, makes the most sense. And then also this opposing sofa is a sectional that actually extends outward. So it really kind of just encompasses the space, and it really, you know, features around your fireplace here, aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but also, you know, it can heat a 400 square foot space. So, you know, it's multifaceted from that standpoint. I think that our designer, Maureen Wozniak, she did an excellent job of really giving everything a nice residential feel. Another thing that we looked at as you're kind of making our way around, just look at all the overhead space. A lot of times when you have a TV,
Crazy.
the manufacturers will leave out the overhead tier. We really want to make sure that every single one of these spaces has storage availability. There's even storage on the side of the fireplace as well. And then look how tall these doors are. There's literally no style here. I mean, it's all raised panel. You got the nice glaze on all this resort cherry cabinetry. You make your way around. You got really comfortable. What we call a dream dinette. The reason we call it a dream dinette is because yes, you can go to sleep right on that thing. It'll convert down very easily into a bed, which is really, again, one of those unprecedented things that we've done. Because in the past, in these higher line, what we call luxury motorhomes, these were just a booth and that's it. And so we actually worked with our vendor, who's Ville International, who's one of the leaders in furniture suppliers for the RV business, and said, let's design a residential looking booth dinette that still gives you the ability to sleep, because anymore you just never know. I mean, with sleeping here, shoot, you got a jackknife. So when this extends out, you got a jackknife. So that's a nice big long space, because this is 84 inches long. And then across here, you have a full queen air bed.
Oh yeah.
So you can sleep, two people, vertically this way. So and then you got the booth. So all these sleeping spaces. I mean, really, it's all comers, kind of deal when it comes to who comes along.
And this particular floor plan is excellent because you've got seat belts here across from the sofa. And then the TV is still visible when you're going down the road. So I mean, you can actually entertain people when you're actually traveling, instead of just having the traditional TV up in the front of the coach, or the ones on the feature wall that get covered up when the slide room's in. Absolutely. So I mean, it really does make this floor plan, so usable to a wide variety of people and ages. And and different types of RVers with family or couples.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize this, but with the seatbelt aspect, a lot of companies in the past, because we didn't have to pull test as an industry, there were seatbelts, but they weren't safe. We've been pull testing for as long as I've been with the company, and even longer, even before it was a requirement from our governing body. So every single piece of furniture has got seatbelts in there, fully pull tested and safe. So you got this sofa, the L sofa, and the booth, and all have seatbelts in them. So not only can you sleep people and sit people, but you can actually do it safely, which is a primary concern of ours. And then, on top of that, more people means you have more requirements for storage. So we talked about the overheads, but you move your way around, and you'll notice with the full size residential refrigerator, right to the side of that, you have these massive, deep pantries that pull out, fully residential. And you'll see, and I think just every floor plan now that we're offering the Tuscany, we're now incorporating this full-size pull-out pantry, which we had developed for us, and I'm real proud of. The refrigerator is a 21 cubic foot with a full, bottom freezer on it, ice and water accessible on the door. Another thing, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but for me, it's a huge deal because it's been working on it for a while, but we've added a lock to the refrigerator now. Right. So, you're traveling down the road and you make a quick, adjustment or whatever, the milk jug's not flying out and spilling all over your beautiful, flooring and everything else. So we actually worked with our vendor and got that approved so that warranties weren't sacrificed. And then you slide along, and even with all this seating and all this space up here, we didn't skimp on the galley. The galley's a very nice galley. A lot of times when you put the dish drawer in, this Fisher Paykel dishwasher that we have, you don't have extra drawers, but in this case, we have the nice drawers here, and then also underneath the sink now we've incorporated a nice slide out area for pots and pans. But you can get back there, right? I mean, otherwise you're getting down on your hands and knees and you're stretching just to try to get back because of the depth of this thing.
But, this is really smart.
Not in our units. It's there. Good amount of countertop space between the electric induction cooktop that we have and the sink, so you actually have usable workspace, which I know is always something that all of our customers out there are looking for. And then, nice big overheads as well. I mean, we, again, really try to maximize and utilize the space to the best of our abilities.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, it's definitely evident throughout your floor plans. But like I said, this is just such a great living space, a great floor plan, like I said, for people who love to entertain in particular.
Thanks, Johnny.
So as you said, all of your floor plans are bath and a halves. Um, what's the thought process behind, all of your floor plans being the bath and a half?
Well, if you think about it, Donnie, like I said, I mean, we're making these things bigger all the time, so they really, they accommodate a lot of people, and so, quite simply, the owners maybe just want to have their own bathroom that's exclusive to themselves. I mean, you think about it in a home, you have your master bath, and do you really invite your friends and neighbors over and use that bathroom? That's usually kind of your space.
Sure.
So it's the same idea in an RV. You could have, friends over for dinner, or maybe it's the grandkids, or maybe it's mom needs her own space and dad's going to be up here, which,
right.
This is probably where I'd be in our household. But, the nice thing about our half baths too is that they are very accommodating. You'll see, I mean, I got lots of room in here. One of the things we hear a lot about and we emphasize is we put a nice big sink bowl in here because,
sure.
This is my sink, probably if this is my unit. And a lot of times the half baths, because it's almost like an afterthought. They're not designed into the coach. So, we made sure that, this is going to be a fully functional area. You got a nice deep medicine cabinet again, where some of these coaches are out there, they don't have it. Tons of countertop space. And one of the things about the counter too is that this is all solid surface. This motorhome throughout. So if you go living room, bathroom, bedroom, rear bath, everything's solid surface, and it's a nice LG High-Max solid surface, so it's the really nice high quality stuff. Even the sink is a molded sink, so really not skimping anywhere. We went to fantastic fans in all of our half bathrooms and our rear baths. We used to only do them in the kitchens, and then we added it to all the areas because they're just a much more functional type deal. You got a remote on the wall, so you don't have to hunt around and try to figure out where that's located. Marine did a really nice job of doing a nice overlay on the lighting in here as well. So, and then we also make sure that there's a heat exchanger. I remember a few years back when I was at the different company and we failed to put a heat exchanger in the half bathroom. Well, if you think about it, if you got somebody staying up front with you and they got to use this bathroom, it's a cold area, this place can be very uncomfortable. So, all those things were thought out when it was designed. And also down below, I almost didn't mention it, but there's a central vacuum on this coach standard, and then there's a nice area where you can sweep right into to that slot there. So in kind of an out of the way place, because obviously this coach doesn't require too much vacuuming because of the tile, but if you need to sweep everything up, you can just sweep it right into that area and eject it.
No, really nice. Really nice.
And then across the way, I mean, when you got, again, needs because of the size of this vehicle, this probably has the single nicest linen cabinet of anything that we design in our whole company. It's a massive space. And so, you have plenty of space for towels and linens and whatever, excess materials you have. They can go right here in a convenient place. Washer dryers out of the bedroom so you can run laundry at night, no problem. It's a full stackable washer dryer. We offer nothing else. Standard equipment, as I mentioned before. And really, it almost is built like a piece of furniture. They've done a nice job in design with the crown molding on top. You'll notice that, even the sides of the cabinets are full veneer.
Right.
I didn't mention that before, but, everything's hardwood in this coach. But even our big panels, surrounding the doors, everything is real wood. You'll see some companies, because of the types of wood they use, they'll use a vinyl paper that that's an inexpensive piece of material that they try to color match. Well, as the coach ages, that all doesn't look the same over time because we're using all the same material and it's all real wood. Although it's expensive when you use veneer, this coach will look consistent throughout no matter what its age.
Right. Right. They did a beautiful job, and just little touches, even the backs of the doors being glazed and recessed, just little things, additional attention to detail that you don't find in most units that are on the road today. That's for sure.
And one other little attention to detail point too is you'll notice how there's an angle to this door entry. And all our coaches, there's always going to be these little subtleties, because one of the things that we really are proud of is the fact that in any one of our coaches, it's fully usable when the slides are in. There's so many coaches out there where you can't get to the bedroom, you can't get to the bathroom, you can't even sometimes get to the refrigerator when the slides are closed. One of the nice luxuries of owning a diesel motorhome, or any motor from that matter if it's designed properly, is that you can develop it so that you can use the thing traveling down the road. If you want to stop at night somewhere where they don't let you bring your slide outs out. The industry unfortunately only has a rule of a 13-inch egress. But we challenge our engineers on floor to ceiling to be upwards of 15 inches, or even in some cases 21 inches or more. We really try to create more open spaces. So the reason why this angle is here is not only is it wider so I can get in out as a larger guy, but when this slide comes in, we've incorporated enough space to where this door is going to open up enough where I can get in it when the slides are closed. Now, I mean, why would you want to go to a rest area and have to deal with one of those nasty bathrooms when you have your own environment that you can get to? It's a convenience of life when you're in the RV lifestyle, and you know, again, it's those little things with the details that you might not realize because you may be somewhere on a dealership's lot and you fell in love with a motorhome, but you know, folks, slide those slide outs in.
Sure.
Really see what that thing's about. And realize that, you know what, every single Thor Tuscany that's out there, any Thor diesel for that matter is out there, you can get to the bed, the bathroom, and the kitchen, and walk right through, no problem, in anything that we build.
No, it is so important as far as coach usability. So important. Y'all do a fantastic job.
Thanks, Donnie.
And I love the pocket doors that you've gone to. You know, in your Tuscany, these new decorative pocket doors just have a beautiful look.
Well, we talked about our ceiling design up front and that full plenum, but you know, where we got the inspiration for it is with these pocket doors, because you'll see that same shape is right on it, and it provides you some nice privacy. You know, it's a solid wood door.
Right.
You know, it has the nice glass accents in it as well, and you know, provides a huge level of privacy. And it's just one single door in this floor plan that will then slide away and close off. And you know, you don't think about it, but again, moving down the road, just the simple things with the design, there's actually a groove at the bottom of these doors, so it actually has a track on the top and bottom to keep it in place, because otherwise, you know, just from the jostling that can occur, you know, something can get off track and not function as well. So we've actually learned, as we've built these coaches, how to build a more functional pocket door that's more reliable for our customers.
Now, your slide out room fascias are just, I mean, absolutely beautiful this year. There's just so much detail and so many additional cuts, you know, here in the wood to pick up that additional glazing. I mean, it just added such a huge, you know, amount of depth to the wood in these coaches. I mean, just a gorgeous look this year.
When we went, you know, to the Amish hardwoods, and we went to that 90 millimeters of lacquer that we're putting on, it really had the cabinets kind of speaking out a little bit more, and so we wanted to really try to make that detail work, so we could, you know, give it that extra level of class. So you know, I'm really excited about the way all that turned out. You know, really nice headboard design she did this year, again with that incorporated accents to it. You know, windows on the other side of the bed, nice deep slide out too, so it really provides a lot of nice open space here. So a lot to be said about that. Also a ceiling fan. So, you know, allows that, you know, air to circulate. So that's all there. And then we move over here. Probably my most exciting feature we have is now what we're doing opposing the beds. Not only did we move the TV up higher, but we also built it out so that you actually have storage now behind the television. You have all your components there. If you want to put some extra stuff, DVDs or really, if you know, anything for that matter, because there's a ton of room. A little storage on the other side, and then you know, a nice another vertical space, you know, if you want to have a place for your socks or your underwear, you can do that. And then also this area here, there's a pull-out hanging spot on it. So it makes really cool. So where, you know, you actually have even more wardrobe, because the one thing we keep hearing all the time from the ladies out there especially is, I don't have enough places for hang space. Well, you know, just about every one of our coaches anymore now has full wardrobe across the rear of the coach, where a lot of companies will put their stackable washer dryer back there. Well, I can tell you right now, a stack washer dryer is 32 inches wide. So when you do the math with a 96-inch interior width, 1/3 of your wardrobe is gone. So we have the full wardrobe and we have extra hanging space here on top of it. So and then the extra deep drawers down below. You'll notice it's on 2 tiers. The reason why it's on 2 tiers is when the slides come together, this mattress actually engulfs the top of this bottom dresser. Plus, if you just need to tie your shoes, you can sit down here and do that too. So it really just, we're trying to maximize, again, storage and usability,
Right.
and I think we knocked it out of the park with some of the little tweaks we've made. I mean, something little like this with the opposing design here. There's no one else in the business doing it.
No, absolutely. It adds so much to the space, not even from the drawer space, but even just visually. You look in so many of these homes that have the deeper slides and the full wall slides in particular. And what I really like about this particular floor plan and so many of your coaches is you don't have the carpet lip that you see on so many of these full wall slides. You've incorporated it underneath your cabinets here. There back in the hallway, the sofa, you use the kitchen to where you don't have that big carpet lip, that you see in so many floor plans. Doesn't matter if it's $450, $550, $600,000 motorhomes, and you just walk up and grab a hold of a carpet lip, lift it up, and I mean, you can see outside the motorhomes in many cases.
Sure.
So I mean, it's just such a great use of space, and then visually, I think it really finishes the coach off so much better than utilizing those carpet lips. And Adam, you commented on it earlier. In this particular floor plan, having such a huge living and galley area, traditionally you sacrifice, a good sized master bath. And as like you said earlier, you really did not sacrifice anything back here in the MT model.
No, I mean, we really tried to prioritize our needs, and obviously I'd mentioned wardrobe before is a premium type of thing, and full wardrobe in the back. We wanted to figure out how to do that. We have that nice cedar lined shoe compartment back there as well. So in addition to having good depth. Now you wouldn't believe how many coaches out there that have wardrobes where you can't put a normal size hanger in. Just as simple as an R&D putting hangers in when we make sure we invest enough depth in a cap to do that. But and you have the shelf up above. So lots of space, usable space and functional back there.
Huge.
You got
closet.
an extra drawer that we're able to tie in. Again, just trying to maximize what we can do. One of the things I like, and one of my favorite parts about this design is the shower. That shower was one that took some time. We actually had a new mold built and designed specifically for this layout. We also had them develop it with a molded seat on there as well. So
right.
Good amount of vanity space back there as well, and that nice vacuum flush toilet to go along with it. So just a nice usable bathroom in the motorhome.
And the only thing that I wanted to comment on was what a great job y'all are doing in your motor compartment. So many of these things you get back there and you see just how poorly the motor compartment is built, how it fits. And especially in these high-end coaches, I've seen them with rubber gaskets, the tiles offset. It's just such a clean and finished look, and that's really important to me. Like I said, when you're in a coach, this caliber, again, it's just regardless of manufacturer, so few people take the time and money required to really finish off the engine compartment properly.
Well, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, no, we're happy with the way it's turned out, and production's doing a good job of installing them correctly.
Well, it really looks great. And I guess speaking of the engine, that's a perfect segue into, I guess, the last thing that we've got to talk about, and that's what we're going to find once we get behind the wheel.
Let's do it.
All right.
Really excited to show you about this cockpit area. Have a seat and make yourself comfortable. You'll notice that these Villa cab chairs are really nice. You got a footrest on there so you can extend that out. 6-way power. These things will obviously swivel all the way around and lock in place. And really you can get nice and comfortable behind the steering wheel. Up above here we have an optional cockpit TV. It's kind of nice because you have the one in the midship and then you have the one up front as well. So no matter if you're in the kitchen, you're sitting on a certain side of the booth, that's all there and readily available. And as you can see, this dash is very ergonomic. We're all about getting comfortable behind the wheel. when we design our coaches, one of the critical elements is really just trying to position this seat as far forward. They call it European bus style design, where we're making sure that you're as far extended forward as possible, because that's just going to make it easier to drive. The coach has adjustable foot pedals, so you can drive those in and out. I mentioned the 6-way power on the seat, so all that works together. Steering wheel will tilt. It'll also telescope. You can get it exactly where you want. You go on a long trip, everything's where it needs to be. Obviously probably the most important aspect of this coach is making sure that those gauges are very visible. You can see we use white gauges, and then the positioning of where those are located so that you can actually see them through the steering wheel, no matter your height.
Right.
Even the window, you'll notice that the mullion's been lifted up. So again, visibility is at a premium. I'm not looking right at the bar that's going across. That came from input from other drivers of our vehicles. Another thing I really like is this smart wheel. This has got a VIP smart wheel on it. So you have your windshield wiper functions, you have your cruise control, all right there at a fingertips reach. And really, it only takes a couple fingertips to drive this thing, because with the independent front suspension, all those chassis upgrades that we mentioned earlier, it just makes for a really luxurious, awesome ride. And then obviously, just reiterating a couple things that have been changes made for this year, but we've gone to this push button start. There's a key fob, so if the fob has to be within like 3 or 4 feet of the location, so you can't just start the rig and then get somewhere and realize you forgot your keys. You do have to have the key fob, folks, in order to be able to do it. But engine start, just like you'll find in all the new luxurious cars of today. The monitor is the largest that's available in the industry. It's a Bluetooth capable monitor system. It has RV GPS, which is a huge thing. It actually is designed around knowing that you're driving a motorhome, which is a critical element, because obviously there's certain places that RVs can't go. So it's set up that way. It's got checklists and different tools on it. So, if you have a certain amount of things you want to make sure you're doing in preparation for your long trip, you have a way to remind yourself to do that. And, fuel management, you name it. This thing is the absolute Mac Daddy when it comes to, RV monitors that are out there and available. Your side cameras, your rear camera, and your GPS is all tied to it. And again, as large of a screen is available in the marketplace today. And then you'll notice, underneath the gauges as well, you have your nice integrated light bar that is provided with Freightliner, which is going to have all that pertinent, engine, transmission type information for the chassis. It'll send out codes if there's anything in particular you need to be way aware of. With the DEF, there's also, acknowledgement over here as to when you're reaching a critical level and you need to make sure that you fill that back up again. And then sliding over to the other side, one of the things that is special about our tag axle models is that this has a 2-stage compression brake, a Jacobs brake that's on it. So you actually have the ability to go with high or low as an auxiliary braking system, so that when you're along that long descend, and although this does have front disc brakes on the coach and rear air drum brakes, this also has an engine brake of 2 stages that can allow you to help retard the engine and keep it safe and comfortable without having to put too much pressure on those brakes.
Really important.
Absolutely.
Coach this size, for sure.
Most definitely. And as you slide yourself around, you'll notice we have your transmission controls in a very nice place. One thing that I love about where we position our transmissions is really a fingertips reach. So you get comfortable here. One of the things that's always recommended for those long descents is that you actually manually downshift. Well, if your transmission controls are up on the dash, and can you imagine trying to stay between the lines? You got trucks, you got this, that going on, and you're trying to figure out where everything is. We really do try to make this coach to where it's absolutely as easy as possible, and you're comfortable and you're not stressed out about the travel time. And by having it there, it really makes a huge difference. You'll notice also that we relocated our key. You don't need the key, but obviously it's back up to the engine start. We've placed that in an area where it's away from where somebody could potentially bump into it or whatever, so it's in a much better place. And then finally, over here on the other side is a leveling system. We do use a 4-point dual action hydraulic leveling system, and it's automatic. So what's nice is you just turn it on, you hit auto again, it levels everything out. It's not only hydraulic down, but it's also hydraulic up. Some of the other systems with the spring-loaded type scenarios,
right,
that spring can actually, over the course of time, get worn out. And whenever there is or was an issue with jacks in the past, it always had to involve that spring. This is not a spring-loaded type of jack system, so you can count on the fact that you're going to have that reliability in the type of leveling system that we've incorporated into the model. Besides, having these directional TVs that you can basically position wherever you want, one of the other things I wanted to mention as well is the fact that this does have a 5.1 Dolby surround sound home theater system. What that 5.1 stands for is that it's got 5 speakers and it's got a subwoofer. So, your entertainment's going to be at a premium. You're going to be able to, get the good surround sound. It's got a Blu-ray, actually Wi-Fi incorporated home theater system too. So with Netflix and your whatever, if you're in a campground where you have Wi-Fi connections, you can actually download whatever you want to do off the web. All the TVs obviously that we're using have the extra capabilities to them to allow for stuff like that, and it's all high def. So all your TVs have HDMI wiring. We put HDMI switch boxes in these things. So you're not sacrificing anything because we're building all that stuff into this unit. So there's nothing else to add.
Wow, what an amazing coach, Adam. I mean, you and your entire team should really be proud. I mean, y'all did a phenomenal job. The coaches never looked better, and an incredible value, as we spoke about earlier. So truly, thanks for taking the time to come down and spend with us and walk us through the coach. I know I learned a lot, and I'm sure that our potential future customers have learned a lot about the coach today. And again, I just want to thank you personally for taking the time and being away from your family and coming down and spending some time with ours, and to do these videos with us. So like I said, it's so important with the consumer setup today. So thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks, Donnie. Really appreciate you having me and enjoyed it. And folks, thanks for joining us today.
And if y'all have any additional questions about the Thor Motor Coach Tuscany or any Thor motor coach that's available here at Motor Home Specialist, please feel free to give us a call at 1-800-335-6054, or you can visit us anytime online at mhsrv.com. Thank you all so much for watching, and we all look forward to hearing from you soon. But before you buy a new Tuscany, or any new RV for that matter, be sure to check the MSRP, or the manufacturer suggested retail price. Unfortunately, other dealers prefer playing numbers games and price their new units at the full manufacturer suggested retail price. Then they discount the MSRP a meager 10 to 15% or less, and many unsuspecting RV buyers end up paying too much for their new motorhome. They also use the heavily inflated price of the MSRP to over-allow on trade-ins and trick other RV owners into thinking that they are getting more for their trade-in than they really are. Some dealers even alter the manufacturer's window stickers to reflect a higher price, or remove the window sticker altogether and create their own version of retail pricing, even though this is against United States federal law. Without knowing the true manufacturer suggested price, you cannot be sure of the true percentage discount you are receiving from the dealership. Always demand a copy of the MSRP, and only do business with dealers who prominently display not only the MSRP, but an upfront percentage discounted sale price without having to ask for it. If you have any doubt about the MSRP, call the manufacturer. If you have any doubt about your sale price, call Motor Home Specialist. Thor Motor Coach's commitment to excellence in manufacturing has also recently been taken to new heights. Thor has implemented the Gold Star inspection process that requires every motorhome to pass a more than 200-point inspection and road test before leaving the factory. The final inspection process also includes a computer alignment, and every unit is rain booth tested to detect any possible leak before shipping. You'll also enjoy the comfort in knowing that your new motorhome is part of Thor's Rapid Response Parts program that overnight express ships parts when they are required for the use of the coach or present a safety concern. And I know you'll find Thor's new Concierge Connection to be a refreshing take on what true customer relations and factory support is supposed to be. For complete details on these incredible new programs from Thor Motor Coach, visit thormotorcoach.com. Motorhome Specialist is not only the #1 volume-selling motorhome dealer in the world, but also the #1 Thor Motor Coach dealer in the world, offering the most diverse selection of new and used motorhomes you'll find anywhere, with prices ranging from about $10,000 to over $2 million, and every price point in between. At Motorhome Specialist, you'll never find our new motorhomes priced at MSRP. Instead, you'll find an upfront, discounted sale price that you can easily compare with other products and dealerships across the country. No matter if you're veteran RVers or first-time buyers, just looking for quality information and a dealership that will treat you fairly, Motorhome Specialist upfront pricing will take the games, gimmicks, and anxiety about paying too much out of the sales process. Because at Motorhome Specialist, we believe everyone deserves the same low price. It is this business principle that has allowed Motorhome Specialist to grow from being a small, pre-owned only dealership in 1999 to the industry leader, selling approximately 40% of all new motorhomes sold in Texas. We offer over 60 different models of new motorhomes from 10 of the most well-known manufacturers in the industry. Each are committed to producing quality products and offer something distinctly different in style and function. And Thor Motor Coach is no exception. Thor Industries was founded in 1980. In 1986, they were listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and in 2004, they were named to Forbes' prestigious Platinum 400 list of companies. They are the world's largest manufacturer of recreational vehicles and a major builder of the world's most recognized name in towable RVs. Thor's motorized divisions include two of the most popular names in recreational vehicles, Four Winds International and Damon Motor Coach. Recently, Four Winds and Damon merged to become Thor Motor Coach, the #1 retail selling motorhome manufacturer in North America, with an amazing lineup of 20 of the most well-known models of luxury motorhomes in the industry, with sizes and price points sure to fit most any RV lifestyle. So call 1-800-335-6054 or visit mhsrv.com for our upfront and everyday low sale price that has made us the #1 volume selling dealership in the world. And take the family in style on your next big RV adventure in a Thor Motor Coach from Motorhome Specialist. Why pay more? Why settle for less?
If you think that this is the right unit for you and your family, please contact a representative from Motorhome Specialist. We have easy financing with up to 20-year terms available and year-round sale prices on our entire inventory. We sell RVs to people literally all over the world. If you're flying in, we will pick you up at the airport and bring you to your new RV. Each new RV goes through a rigorous service checklist twice before your arrival. Once here, you will be greeted by a service tech and shown how everything works and that everything is working properly on your new unit. You will also have an RV starter kit that includes a new water hose, sewer hose, chemicals, and much more. Thanks for watching our video. We all look forward to hearing from you soon.